How I made my first R1,000,000. But remember that none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please do consult somebody who is certified and registered with the FSCA. So anyway, how I made my first R1,000,000 will absolutely blow your mind because it is so simple.
Okay, so it's so simple. We've got her sitting here, financial fitness bunny, Nicolette Mashile, 26 years old. You say it was simple to make your first million. So how do you do it?
I don't know if simple is the word I should have used there now in hindsight.
Yeah.
But look, Leanne, I think what a lot of people try to do is to overcomplicate the process, right? The rules of money have stayed the rules of money over the years. I mean, I read books like The Richest Man in Babylon, The Millionaire Next Door, and literally the lessons from all those books stay the same. I think what people get fixated on is the amount of money, and then they also get fixated on the actual theory of how do you make the money. And I think what most of us now, living in the economy of now, need to understand is that the rules have not changed. You need to live beyond your means. You can't, it's not about, you have to live below what you actually make. You can't spend money you don't have, right?
Absolutely.
That's number one. Number two, I asked this question at the end of last year. I said, if you looked at 2018 January to 2018 December, and you actually looked at all your bank statements and how much money has actually gone through your bank account, then you ask yourself the question, of that amount of money that's gone through my bank account, how much of it did I actually keep? And that is the rules of money. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep.
And
right?
how much you keep.
And then the next question is, where are you actually keeping it? Because money doesn't like to be idle either. You have to put it somewhere where money is actually continuously making you more money, right? So when I was 26, I didn't know all this because I think if we all got taught personal finance and how to manage our money and wealth creation at school, maybe things would look a little bit differently, right? We probably all wouldn't make the mistakes that we make when we are starting off. Because trust me, I made enough mistakes before I actually realized, you know what? Actually, if you just lived a little bit less than what you actually are making and not get caught in lifestyle inflation, because that's the other thing we get caught in, right? Now I'm making this amount of money. Ooh, now all of a sudden my little car doesn't seem comfortable, right? Now I gotta move out of, I rented, guys. I rented up until probably a few years ago, 3 years ago. And then only did I live by myself. And if you looked at the salary that I was earning at that time, you wouldn't think this person must be renting. People used to walk into our apartment with the girl that I was renting and then say, wow, guys, you guys don't have furniture. And I'll be like, well, look, I spend 90% of the time either in my bedroom or at work. Do I really need a couch?
To have this everything flashy, and yet you can't actually afford this lifestyle. Because that's a big problem, is that a lot of people pretend to have this lifestyle, and I think it's a problem of our generation. People do things for a picture. And when I say a picture, I'm talking, so I can post myself with a brand new car on Instagram and get as many likes as I can. But I cannot afford it. I don't own it. The bank owns it. And I've got this noose around my neck. It's worrying about what the other people are thinking as opposed to what you actually can afford. And it's a terrible culture to get wrapped up in.
Elizabeth White has a YouTube video where she speaks about the crisis of personal finance. And she speaks about that friend that is always popping champagne with you. That friend that is the one who's always recommending vacations. Oh, friend, we should do this year. That's the friend that's actually struggling at home. But they will never show you because on the outside, it looks like they've got it all together, right? But when you sit at home and you actually start to balance your numbers, you realize that I'm actually in a crisis. But instead of stopping yourself and saying, hey, I need to fix this and I need to fix it quickly, you just continue and that's the thing. That's why I always tell people I hate motivational speakers, and that sounds terrible, but I really can't stand motivational speaking because somebody will motivate you, they'll sit on your shoulder, they'll tell you you're great, you can do this. Tomorrow you just go back to routine because going back to routine is very easy. But the thing about managing your personal finances and the thing about trying to and that's the thing I always say, don't get fixated on an amount. Because people get fixated on an amount and they think just, once I cross over the million, something is going to miraculously happen. No, you've got to keep practicing. It's a continuous effort that you have to keep doing. And it is difficult. In this economy, it is difficult to try as much as possible to live below your means.
So what do you do? Very quickly, let's have a look at the time. So you're earning a salary. Okay, let's say I earn 5,000 Rand a month. Okay, so I have my expenses, and by that time, everything dwindles. how do I go about trying to save? I mean, what do I do?
First and foremost, you need to find a way, and I know that people will say, they will argue this, you need to find a way in which you can live below 5,000 Rand. And that's really all that it is, right?
Okay.
You need to find a way to live. Then I will always say to people, you need to get an additional income. Guys, we are all not beyond waiting tables on the weekends
100%.
if it means we need to
How many
supplement.
jobs did you work?
I was working 7 jobs at that time.
Wow.
And that's the thing that people never ask you. You know, they say,
7 jobs.
You made the money. How do you do it? And then you say, but this is what I was doing, you know? And people are like, oh, okay. Because that is the unglamorous part of it. I mean, selling things. People will tell you, oh, I don't like selling. I don't want to deal with people. I want to be trying to convince people to buy things from me. Hey, I want a surplus income, so I will sell anything to you.
Yeah. You've got to do that. I mean, these are the answers. I mean, these are the things that people need to know. So, live below your means. Don't be scared to take another job.
Exactly.
I mean, find that job. Do whatever you do. And don't think you're better than anything.
And the job will not be the same level as the job that you do as a 9 to 5. So just because you're 9 to 5, you're an accountant, a chartered accountant, a lawyer, doesn't mean that you cannot sell. Doesn't mean you can't wait tables.
Yeah.
I mean, people buy anything these days. People love convenience, you know?
I want to ask you a very important question, and I think it's vital. Black tax, you know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even you came in here and you said, don't ask me for money. Please don't ask me for money. I don't have the money. But the reality is, I mean, you come out and you're speaking like this.
Yeah.
But, you know, what about that? It is a big burden.
You know, I think, to be quite honest, I was lucky enough to come from a family where black tax at that time wasn't a huge thing for me. So it wasn't a big hindrance because luckily for us, my dad was able to take care of us and everybody else, right? But right now, black tax is a real thing for me. I pay for my little sister's school where I need to help my parents. I pay for her accommodation. So the reality of black tax is that you need to see it also as family responsibility. But family responsibility is not a tax that you pay every single month. So you need to sit down, because you know that the one thing that my father said to me when I first bought my car, he said, do not be sensational. Do not come here and paint a picture to people that you're a certain type of person, because then you have to live up to it. And when people expect you to live up to it, now you start getting upset and you're saying, where do they think I find all this money? Well, you've given us an impression that you've got the money, right? So my dad always says to us, live a life that is modest enough so you can control how people see you. No, that doesn't mean you must stinge yourself now and be, you know, overly frugal. But live a life in which people understand your boundaries and your expectation. So even at home, if my parents expect me to pay for something or there is some sort of something, I always explain to them, these are my boundaries.
Yeah. I love it. Listen, I think you've given us amazing advice. Nicolette Mashile, social media financial fitness bunny, talking to us about money matters, including how she made her first million. But I don't think that's the story here. It's not about making the million. It's about living not beyond your means, living within or below your means. All right, quick break, and then we've got to say goodbye to you.